What's up, everyone? Oh my gosh, so I have not come on and done a video in a little while. Probably, I believe, since my birthday would be the last time that I posted something, so it's actually been a couple of weeks. And there has been a lot of stuff that has been unfolding for me and kind of coming up for me, and I wanted to do this video today to sort of take you through what has been on my mind and what I've been kind of processing through recently. I have no idea how long this video is going to be, but I just want to kind of get some of my thoughts out and see where this goes. So if you're all in and on board with me, jump in. So here it is. I have been really questioning a lot. I've been journaling a lot. I've been writing. I've started writing my book. And through that process of writing the book, I found myself initially going through and just writing the story. I've been writing the story of this is my life. These are experiences that I've been through. Here's what's happened in and through those experiences. Here's where I was, and here is where I am now. Nothing wrong with any of that. But I've really been thinking about what I want you as the reader to be able to get and experience and know from this book. And that's made me actually kind of start to question the how-to behind the awarenesses. And here's what I mean by that. It's like, okay, great. You went through all these things, right? You had these experiences, you got these lessons, you processed through all of this. Yay for you. What about me, right? How can I take your experience and how can I tangibly be able to map like those lessons into my own life, right? It's like, great, that sounds good for you. Like, what the fuck about me? Like, what about me? How am I supposed to handle this? How am I supposed to get from this place of being miserable and totally being unhappy and feeling stuck in my life to this place of empowerment and this joy and this freedom and this love and appreciation? Like, what are these steps? And so I really started thinking, because if you know me, and if you don't already, you're about to, a lot of my shift has been about learning to just not give a fuck. And that's been a big, like, that's kind of, that's my brand, right? Like, that's kind of my energy and my mission is on really helping people get to that place. But the catch for me is that I care deeply. Like, I deeply care about people, about humanity, and simultaneously don't give a fuck. And so what started to happen for me, and this actually happened last weekend, is I started to really think about, what does that mean? What does that look like? How does that show up? How does that affect me and my body? How does that shift my energy and how I show up in the world? And how can I'm actually gonna sit down. How can I kind of wanna just like talk to you, right? How can I get to this place where I could teach this to somebody else, right? Like, how could I take these concepts that I've learned and put them into like a program, right? Like a step 1, you do this, and step 2, I need a shower. Step 2, you do this, and so on. So what I did this weekend is I started to really think about, what does it mean? Like, when I say, I don't give a fuck, what does that mean exactly? And I mean, if you look up the definition, I'm pretty sure Urban Dictionary talks about like not caring, right? So then my mind went, okay, so how do I care and not care? Is that like sorry, not sorry? Like, is that what that concept is? Or is it something altogether different? And so what it prompted me to do is start to create a list. Okay, here are the things that I care about, right? Here are the things that I do love, that I do give a fuck about, for lack of a better phrase. And here are the things that I don't. Here are the things that I want to spend time and energy with and on, and here are the things that like I don't. And it prompted me to start to create lists, and I created a little bit chilly, hang on. I created 2 lists. I created a list of here are things that I like, and here are things that I don't. And it started small, right? It started with I like soft clothes, and I like red wine, and I like lattes. I love lattes actually, and I like being comfortable, and I like coaching clients that are in alignment, and all of these things. And then I started thinking about what are things that I don't like, things that I just don't really enjoy. And you know, it was, I don't like pretending, and I don't like people who are inauthentic. I don't like small talk. I don't like forcing like conversation. I don't like things that like scratch my skin. And I mean, just some stuff was surface and tangible, and then other things were deeper and more, what I might say, like more significant. And then I started thinking, why am I giving a fuck about things that I don't actually care about? Why am I giving a fuck about things that I don't actually like? And why am I doing things that I don't like? And why am I spending time or energy worrying about things that I don't actually care about? And so I played last week at work. For those of you that don't know, I work part-time in a restaurant, and I played last week when I was there in the space of just not giving a fuck, because I don't really want to work there anymore. And while it is partially about that place, just to be honest, it's also because I want to work more in this other space, right? I want to do more of this work. I want to do more coaching and more speaking and more training and more videos, and I want to be more in this space for me and for you, and I want to spend less time in that space. And so it really started to have me think about, why am I pretending to care about something that I don't actually care about? So anyway, I played with extremes, and I went this past week into work just not pretending to care. And it threw some people for a loop, because I was not the me that they were used to dealing with. I didn't have fake and inauthentic conversations. I didn't pretend to care about people that I didn't really like. I didn't pretend to care about things that I just didn't care about. And then I noticed how I felt, and I noticed what it brought up in me, and I noticed what started to happen to me. And what happened to me is that I was less reactive to the situations that were going on. And you know, if you've ever worked in a restaurant before, there's always crazy situations and things that are happening, and I was more detached. things just were what they were, and I didn't react because I didn't care. And not that I didn't show up, and not that I didn't do a good job, and I did everything that I was supposed to be doing for, to meet the requirements of my job, but I just didn't care. I didn't care what other people were doing. I didn't care about like what my tables tipped or didn't tip. Like none of those things, like I didn't care. It just was, and then I went home. And I did the same thing on Saturday, and both nights people kept asking me like, are you okay? What's wrong? What's going on? And I was good. I just didn't pretend to care. And then I went in on Sunday. See, I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I went in on Sunday, and there were a couple things that happened in the morning that got me a little, it got me a lot upset. I was pissed, actually. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And I realized that what happened is I started to care about something that I actually didn't give a fuck about. And I want you to hear that, because when I first said it, I was like, what? Wait a minute. And I say this, and this video might be seen, so it's no offense to the restaurant that I work in. I don't give a fuck about the restaurant. And yet, I was caring. And because I was caring about something that other people who were more in charge didn't care about, so not only was I giving a fuck about, or caring about something I didn't give a fuck about, I was also caring about something that the people who were in charge didn't give a fuck about. And what happened to me in that situation where I gave my fucks to something that I didn't actually care about, what happened to me is, and I noticed this because it was on my mind, I remember I was standing at the bar and I was talking to a coworker, and I was like, oh shoot, here's what's happening to me. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling irritated. I'm getting riled up, all because I'm behaving this way. These same things happened on Friday and Saturday, and I didn't care. The difference was that I was caring. And now this got me really thinking. I was like, oh gosh, so wait a minute, is this okay? Is this allowed? Is detached? Is that good or is that bad? Should I be detached? I mean, I do have this job, and rest assured, I did my job. I ran food, I took care of my guests, I was pleasant, I was polite. There was nothing, I was not, in any way, I wasn't angry or not doing my job or screw this place. I didn't have any of that attitude when I didn't pretend to give a fuck. Are you with me? Because this is so weird. And I'm almost saying this to you, but I'm saying it to hear myself say it, because it almost doesn't, I have to repeat it so that I can get it in my head. I was in a better mood and I was more stable on the days where I didn't pretend to give a fuck about something that I actually didn't care about, than on the day that I did care about something that I didn't give a fuck about. On that day, on Sunday, I was angry. I was pissed. I was in a bad mood. I was irritable on the shift. And it was because I was giving my fucks away. Profound. That was so huge for me. And I came home and I put in my, in the folder where I'm writing my book, I came home and I started to just write and document all of this. And then I just started asking myself questions what does it really mean to care? What does that look like? And how if I do care, because, and I think it's Danielle Laporte, who I just love her so much. Her message resonates in my heart and in my body and in my soul. And I heard her speak about, on her podcast, which is amazing, by the way, I heard her speak about turning like love and care into action, like into action words. Like if they really are, I'm like so lit up, I don't know if I want to sit or stand. If they really are verbs, right? And love can be a noun or a verb, but if we're using them as verbs, what does it really mean to love? And I was actually coaching a client earlier today, and we were talking about how when you care about people, there are things that you do for them. There's ways that you communicate to them. There's things that you don't do because you care about them. How can we turn this self-care and this self-love, how can we turn this inward and actually make these words verbs so that they're action words, so that there's a doing to them? So I really started to think about what it meant to care, what it meant to love, and how can I spend more time in that space for myself. And when I care and when I love someone else, I want to nourish them. I want to listen to them. I want to honor and respect their desires and their choices. And I show up authentically for them. And I want that in return. And I make sure that their needs are being met, and on and on. And I started to turn those things inward on me. And then I started to think, and this can be a little bit overwhelming, I'll admit, my brain's been a little overwhelmed since probably about a week ago, literally. I started to think, what would happen if I took everything in my life? And when I say everything, I mean everything. What would happen if I took it all? Every relationship, every piece of clothing, the house, the car, all of the tangible items, right? So we're talking dishes, food, drink. If I took all the relationships, all the conversations, all the work, all the expectations, if I took it all and I threw it into a pile in the center of my yard, and then I picked everything up and I asked those famous, decluttering questions. Do I love this thing? Does it bring me joy? Does it add value? Would I put it back in my life, or would I donate it to someone else? Or maybe burn it or give it away? Maybe sell it. What would be what I would intentionally pick back up? And then, why am I pretending to give a fuck about anything that I left in the pile? And it's not to say that you might not need to, for a short period in time, pick something back up, because maybe this hair is out of control. Because maybe right now you can't quit your job. Financially, it's not a wise decision. Let me not say you can't. I mean, you physically could. You could say the words, I quit. But maybe it's not a financially wise decision for you to quit your job right now, even though you wouldn't pick your job back up. So it's not about like letting go right away of everything that's still in the yard. But the question then is, why are you pretending to give a fuck about stuff that you don't actually love, that doesn't bring you joy, that you wouldn't intentionally put back in your life? Why are you pretending? And I think the answer to that, for me, I'm not going to speak for you, I think it's expectations, habit, supposed to's, and I'm done with those things. You know, I'm done with those things. When I made my list of things that I loved and things that I didn't, expectations and shoulds and supposed to's, bad habits, they were all on the things that I don't love list. And let me say this, it is not easy. And I think that's why I'm kind of going through a lot of what I'm going through right now, is so that I can be very clear on this process, so that I can share it with you. And right now you're getting the inside scoop. You're privy to the early stages, behind the scenes of how to care deeply and not give a fuck. I think this is some of the hardest shit. I think this whole conversation around figuring out what you love, what brings you joy, what creates happiness for you, and then having the courage, the chutzpah, to say no to everything else. At least for me, while I'm here, that's the game. That's the game. That's what it's about. And the more clarity that we can have on the loves and the things that bring us joy and light us up, the more clear we are on those things, my gosh, the easier it becomes to not give a fuck. And I think we can care deeply about the things that are important to us and the things that we do want to give our fucks to. And we can be okay with boldly and unapologetically choosing not only ourselves, but choosing to validate and honor our needs and our desires, because that is self-care and that is self-love in action. That's all for now. I'm gonna come back, still processing. Thank you for listening. I'd love your 2 cents. I'd love your engagement. I'd love your comments. I'd love you to send me an email. Let me know what you're thinking. This is unfolding and evolving. I'm open to perspective. Be well. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon. I can't wait. Bye now.